Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Intuitive Body and Soul. And I'm Joan Turner, your host. This is Deb Carpenter, your co-host. And we have Nick DePampilis from Windham, New Hampshire. Now, he was on our last show, and he's very interesting. He's very eclectic. He has a lot of stuff going on. So we asked him way back when if he would do a part one, a part two, and also a demo, because one of the ways that he helps people with their spirituality and connecting to spirituality is through art. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm all for art and intuition. Okay, so Nick is a starseed crystal child, amongst other things. Right, and without further delay, we want to bring him on. Okay, so I think we can do that. Start. Oh, okay. Let's see if we can get him. My video expertise here. Ah, there you are.
Hi.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
How are you?
We are doing awesome. How are you? Enjoying the good weather?
Great.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, it's super nice right now. I love it.
I know. And in our little pre-talk, you were showing me around the grounds. It looks very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. This is a good time to do that. So we were talking, you had a very interesting conversation. We were talking about an experience that you had with mediumship. Now, the both of us are involved in mediumship. So of course, the minute you said that caught my attention immediately. So would you repeat some of your experiences? Because I know your grandmother passed away.
Yeah.
Butterflies, eagles, tell the story.
Yeah, so the week after my grandmother passed away, well, you know what? I think maybe I should tell you. I don't know if I told you about how I knew that she was gonna pass away. Did I just talk about that?
No,
well,
do tell.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go into that first because that definitely makes it more of a story. So in my family, from her side, from my Nana's side, it's if you have a dream that you lose your teeth or a tooth and you see blood, there's like multiple factors. That means that somebody close to you is gonna die. And in this dream is very, very weird because instead of like just a tooth, it was like more of like a fang. And I almost saw it as like someone really, really important or really close to me is gonna die, and immediately my boyfriend even said when I woke up, I was saying in my sleep, like, oh, somebody's gonna die, like somebody else is gonna die. So then the first person I called was my Nana, and she was trying to kind of like reassure me, like, it's gonna be okay, like whatever it is, like it always happens for a reason, it's always gonna teach you something. She was very optimistic about everything. And even the last time that I actually talked to her, my mom got a recording of a conversation of her and I talking, and it was about when her mother passed away. And she said, like, Fedora, that was her name, Fedora, I'm going home to a place with beautiful colors and so many flowers that you can't even see like the horizons, like just beautiful words. And when she left, it was almost like she kind of knew as well that she was going to pass soon. It was just like the way the whole thing went. And then she passed away, like I think a couple days later, like 2 days later. And
was she sick at all? Or she was just out of the blue?
You know what? I think it was like more like a week later, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it was like a week later. So no, she was perfectly healthy. Like she was really healthy and independent up to the day basically that she died. She was working too. Like she still worked down in her basement studio, and she was a little fashion designer and a tailor. So she used to like mend clothes. When she was younger, she went to fashion school, which I think is really cool. But yeah, so after that, I actually had a vacation planned in Maine. And this vacation was planned months and months in advance. Like we already booked the Airbnb months before, and it just happened to fall right after she passed and right before the funeral, so I could still go. And it was like she wanted me to go, almost like she was telling me you need to go heal, because we were very close. I want to say she was one of my closest grandparents, and I think I was one of her closest grandchildren. And she loved me and I loved her a lot. So I really needed that time to heal. And when I was there, every morning we would see a bald eagle fly back and forth so close to us. And I have never seen a bald eagle before in my life, ever, in person. And after that too, we went on the beach one day and there were yellow butterflies like all around us. So that was another way I feel like she manifested, because she, it just felt like her in the moment. And then I looked it up after to try to get a validation, and it said like the symbolism of a yellow butterfly means your loved one on the other side is at peace. So
Did your
that really made me
grandmother,
feel good.
excuse me, did your grandmother know that? Was she familiar with that kind of symbology? And was she a medium like you? Because you said she had dreams, and you know, we're both
She did.
Italian descent here. So
Yeah,
mine were the
yeah,
same way. Dream this is going to
yeah,
happen.
yeah,
So
yeah,
was that
totally. She
meaningful
was
to
all,
her?
she really, yes, she really believed in the dreams. There were certain things I think that were kind of glossed over and left out for her because she was very Catholic. So she kind of, I don't think she explored that part of herself as much as she could
Okay.
have. Her
Yeah.
mother, though, was, I think, a little bit more so. And then her mother was like a full medium. She would see, you know, the dead all the time, and she would actually help them cross over and stuff like that. So
So has this
there's so many
happened to
ghost stories
you?
to tell
Has this
me.
happened to you randomly? Because now I want to tie in for other people, because what we had said earlier is that a lot of people have experiences like that, and they don't
Yeah,
call it connecting with spirit, or, and you're not formally trained to do that. So explain a little bit how it
no,
happens, and you know, um, what people can do if they experience that. What should they do? Who do they talk to? How do they figure out what's going on? You know, they can come and talk to you for
okay.
sure.
Yeah, good. I definitely am so open. I love talking about this stuff, you know. So I I think it's usually very synchronistic, but it also feels out of place sometimes because you're never really expecting it when it happens. So sometimes, you know, you're off guard a little bit. And I think that's where the fear comes from a little bit more so than it actually ever being anything negative. I think it's more like just not realizing it's going to happen and then it suddenly does. When I was younger, it was really kind of like that battle of kind of balancing light and dark energy and knowing when to protect yourself and knowing when to open up and accept the energy. And I think also art has helped me with channeling that energy and expressing it, because sometimes there's no words to describe a whole experience. So you have to paint or draw it, you know, because that they say an image captures 1,000 words or whatever, however many words. So I think that definitely helps to express it in some way, even if you don't have anyone to talk to, even if you write it out or draw it out or paint it, whatever works for you. I feel like that's a really helpful
You need to stop.
thing.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. I was just asking Deb if she was being okay over here. Okay, now you're talking a little bit about being uncomfortable with mediumship. Now, if you're trained mediums, okay, are typically not fearful when they're doing that. unless they do come across
Yeah.
an energy that they're not comfortable with. Okay, now I have not necessarily
Yeah.
had that experience to any degree. You? Okay.
Do protection.
Yeah.
I was just going to
You're
say that
you're
we
very
protect
protected
each
then.
other.
You just have a very,
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
if someone
Yeah.
feels that they need protection, how would you do it, and how would you do it?
Oh, I would ask the light.
Okay.
I would ask the light to come down around me and protect me from any negative influences.
So who's the light? Who are you addressing when you say that?
Source.
Source,
Our
God,
creator, God.
wherever your source of power comes
Right.
from. And so how do you do it, Nick?
I would say something similar. I usually meditate, I use specific colors too, like kind of from my class with the colors in the energetic meetings. But violet for me kind of is like the violet flame. I'll use that in protection. Like I'll imagine the violet flame energy and it kind of burns up. I have this tattoo because it reminds me of
Purple
the
flame.
violet flame energy. But
Well, you and Deb
it's
can have
supposed to
quite
be
a conversation about that because
I use that.
she uses that all the time.
this like angelic that burns up negative energy or it sends it back to source.
Cool. Very cool. So I did not know that. Only from what you've told
But I
me.
also love to use crystals. Crystals now are probably one of my go-to to protect myself if I feel unsafe. I wear these every day just in case because they're gold sheen obsidian, so they're like a shield in a way.
Okay. Very cool. So obsidian would protect you against negative energy. What else could someone who's into crystals use? Some people place them around their house and whatnot. Do you do stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think gridding your crystals and setting them up in like a very kind of ritualistic or sacred way makes them work more because the alignment within the room and the space, the energy will move between the crystals in a certain way and frequency that will
They interact.
work with the vibration. Yeah.
You use sea salt or pink salt, Himalayan salt?
They interact.
Okay.
Okay, what happened?
So Deb was asking about sea salt. Ask the question again.
Himalayan salt.
Do you use that
Yes.
as part of the protection ritual?
Put
Okay.
that in the corners of the room.
I have a huge Himalayan salt lamp because I love it.
Oh,
So
cool.
yes, I feel like it's a very warming, safe color as well. Like it's a very protecting, feminine, nurturing color, I think.
Mhm.
Yep.
Plus, they're just pretty. Okay, while you're drinking in there, I want to address night terrors or things that, a lot of people have night terrors. I have never had them, and people say to me, it's a good thing you haven't because, sometimes they can't move or whatever. So
Yes.
address that.
I know.
No?
Yeah, I'm very
Address
familiar
it.
with night
So
terror.
say who, what? I missed it. What'd you say?
Sorry, I said I'm very familiar with the night terrors.
A lot of people are, and it totally
Yeah.
flips me out because I'm like, what do you mean night terrors? So what are they? And I know obviously they scare you.
I think it's when it happens more so when I'm in like a sad or dark place. And when I'm kind of thinking about things that aren't beneficial to me, shadow figures and things like dark entities might attract. And that affects your dream and your mental state as well. In my opinion, like that's how I see it. So like night terrors are manifestations of that negative energy that you're holding on to, but you can release it at any time. It's all you, like you're attracting it or manifesting it physically. I don't really think it's out of your control. It's always going to be in your control. I think sometimes you just believe that it's not in your control, and that's when things can go wrong. And that's really just a part of your belief system. Just believing that you are protected and you have spirit guides and guardian angels and things watching over you that you can call on to protect you, or even the light within yourself as well, is just as powerful as any of those things some of the time.
Yeah, and probably even more powerful. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like people will say, oh, I experienced this or that, or they're afraid. And I say, you have all the power that you need. You're in charge. This is your dimension, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So for someone
When I
who has,
experienced that, I felt like, what did you say? I'm sorry.
no, that's all right. I'm thinking, I'm jumping ahead. I'm like, if someone is having a night terror and you say, well, it's all about you, you have to fix it, blah, blah, blah. And I totally agree with what you're saying. But how does a person implement that? What actions can they take when they're so terrified? And, you know, what can they do right then and there? Can they create a trigger maybe? Okay, next time I have, you know, while they're awake and feeling okay, maybe some affirmations, maybe some hypnosis. Next time I have this going on, I'm going to use a trigger response to snap myself out of it. Because I agree with what you're saying, the person has the power and the ability. Yet if they're in that situation and at that moment in time, I'm not sure they have the rationality to actually reach outside.
My advice
Yeah.
is honestly,
Right.
Yeah.
what did you say?
Deb says pray and
Or listen to nice music or change the energy.
Yeah, I
Anything
agree.
loving, anything loving. They don't like love. They don't like that vibration.
Yeah,
Mhm.
love is the most powerful vibration.
Sure.
So if you have things that you love around you, like truly, like if you even have like, I mean, people, you know, some people sleep better, they say, because they're next to somebody they love at night, which isn't the case for everybody. And I think you could focus on that if you have a partner that makes you feel safe, or you could focus on, you know, a pet that you have that you feel protected by, because their spirits are larger than what they seem to be, I think, a lot of the time. Like cats especially are very protecting creatures. They balance the energy in a household, and they protect your soul at night.
I definitely have heard that before.
I never did.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say dogs protect your body during the day and cats protect your soul at night.
Ah, that's kind of cool. I wonder if that's how the connection was made between animals and the occult. So, and I definitely want to kind of go into that area too. But what I find even more interesting is the galactic connection that you and Debbie were talking about earlier, because you sense these entities. Deb said, could they be galactic? And the two of you had a conversation from there that I was very interested in. So talk about that. So some of the shadow figures.
Well, I don't know about that, but he had mentioned that the figures looked feline. There is a galactic race that have feline features, and they're very up there in the vibrational, scheme of things.
What's that woman who wrote that book?
Elena
Denon.
Elena Denon.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, she's on YouTube. She was abducted when she was a child, and during the abduction, the Pleiades interrupted it, and the Greys had implanted something in her brain. So when it was interrupted, the Pleiades interrupted it. They couldn't take it out. So what they did is recalibrated it to their frequency. So as she grew up, she was able to communicate with the Palladians quite frequently. It's like turning a dial on a radio. So she wrote a book. It's amazing. What was the name of the book?
A gift from above, a gift from the stars.
Gift of the stars.
That exact story, so I definitely know who you're talking about.
I'll tell you something. She should get someone to write her books for her. But what she's writing about is extremely interesting, and because she's able to communicate with this friendly alien, they have told her of the different aliens that
She
are
can
out there.
draw too, so,
She's an artist, Nick.
yeah.
She's an artist,
So
so.
her
Yeah.
artwork is amazing.
So let's ask you, do you believe in extraterrestrial beings, and what's your take on them?
I very much so believe in extraterrestrial beings. Yeah, I was followed for about probably like 9 months by a UFO. It was a
didn't
black
know.
triangle.
Yeah,
Huh?
but wait a minute, someone said black triangles are us.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you know what's us and what's them, and how did you
Well,
know you were being followed?
the thing is, the so there are very many like different types of spaceships, but they're like cars among extraterrestrials. So like a Pleiadian could be, flying like a reptilian craft. It's not all the time. I would say actually the Pleiadians have more specific type of ship because they use more of a Merkaba. But some of the other entities, they almost like they have other different types of vehicles, in my opinion, because a lot of the places where they come from are like almost like galactic federations, like cities where there are just so many different types of races coexisting. But the triangles, I think were actually they say, yeah, that there's a government sect that it does look like that. It's like T3 something like that. And I don't think that it was the government, because I'm like, why would the government follow me? Like I just didn't understand why the government would be following me. I feel like the most thing that would make sense would make more sense if it would be extraterrestrials.
So
And
why are extraterrestrials interested in you, young man?
I think because my spirit definitely comes from another dimension, probably one of theirs, probably one of their realms, one of their star systems. A lot of them probably have soul contracts with me, and also a lot of them might also different or similar. Some of them some of them you have as like spiritual guides, and you also have from like past life experiences. But then there are other aliens that kind of use your DNA, or they have a contract with your bloodline, and they come back and they kind of monitor like different timelines of one bloodline,
I actually have heard
if that makes sense.
Well, I've heard of it. I don't know. I have a very open door policy about it because I've not experienced anything firsthand myself, at least not physically. I have a lot of contact in the spiritual realms, and I'm not really sure, if some of those are extraterrestrial or not. But so I have a very open door on all of that good stuff. So for people who are kind of new at this, what's a soul contract? What's a soul group or family? So go into a little bit more depth, pretend we have no idea what you're talking about, Nick.
Okay, so a soul group or family, I would say, are people like that you think of as soulmates, or just your family in general that just feels closer to you than other family. Like more family that you can relate to on another level. You just like connect with them and you feel like you belong with them. And then friends as well, friends that you just resonate with on a spiritual level, that you just feel like they're part of your tribe, or almost like they share so many qualities with you, where they balance you out in a way that not another soul can. I would say that those are soul family and soul groups that kind of move along similar lines and definitely incarnate at the same.
I have a question. So these people, right, that are in your soul group, are these people that we were with in spirit before we came to this earth and we said, okay, we're going to come, we're going to be together, we'll support each other. So how, is a soul group more than a physical connection? It's like soul groups in spirit?
Yeah, I would say a lot of the time we switch roles too. So like we could have been their guides and now they're our guides. It's definitely more connected and stranger than we all assume, I think. I think there's just more to it like than one answer. I I think
Good answer.
it's more so like you're say like you incarnate with a sibling because you need their energy to be physically there with you in that life to accomplish your purpose and vice versa. Then that's how it would happen. But then say you have another soul that can only support you from the spiritual plane because that's the energy that you will need from the spiritual plane in that lifetime. So they'll stay on the spiritual plane.
Very cool.
As a guide. Also, karma too. Karma can be involved in this.
But I do think
So karma definition, karma, kids.
Karma, payback.
No, well, that's what I was gonna say. Some people think it's payback, some people don't. They think it's just.
Depends on the karma.
Yeah.
That's right, that's right. So what's your definition of karma? And what is it for? Is it for growth? I think it's for growth, certainly. Sometimes it can be unpleasant, but sometimes
it's really
just pleasant.
only for growth though.
Okay.
Like at the end of the day, it's really all about growth and like
Sure.
of evolution of your soul. It's really all that it is. It's almost like your soul's bank account. Like you sounds a little daunting, but I don't know how to really describe it because there's good karma and bad karma. But it's really all neutral. It's really all just for your soul's growth. It's really all good, honestly.
you're
Like
right.
even if you experience something bad, it's just weighing out something that you did really, or teaching you what you did in a past life or even in this present life. It's just to teach you lessons so that your soul learns and your soul can grow up and evolve and change.
So does the soul cycle? You believe in reincarnation? I think the majority of people do, but there are some, especially those attached to a religious, So
Or the Bible.
yeah, well, I think some of that was kind of left out.
People
Depends
that
on who you
are
talk to.
really follow the Bible. So
Yeah.
it's not in there,
They don't
believe
believe it. Yeah. So what's your take on reincarnation?
I think every soul is different. I do believe that most of us do reincarnate. I really do. That's just because it's my experience. I've had dreams of being in other people's bodies, different centuries, and weird kind of things.
What? That's cool. Like what? Say some.
So there was this dream that I had, and I think it was like maybe like late 1800s or like early 1900s, and I was in like a hotel. I was in a
A who?
woman's body though,
Say
and
again.
I just knew that it was like a past life because timeline and like, sorry, what?
Back up a little bit because we lost a little of the audio feed. So you were in a female body or a
Okay.
male body? Which one?
I was in a female body
Female. Okay.
in this past life in the 19 or 1800s. But I was medium and I was trying to find a way to help these souls cross over, and like I think it was either like a hotel or like an apartment complex or something, or a hotel that like people lived at. But at the time I had lost my children, and it's weird because I don't even know if I want kids, in this life or anything like that. So it was a weird thing for me to experience me looking for my children, like very like almost like viciously, like I couldn't help but look for them, but they were trapped in a sense in like some sort of like time loop in a house, or not the house, it was a hotel, but it was like, I don't know, it was very strange. It was a couple dreams, honestly, that I had. You know, like when you wake up and then you go back to sleep and then the dream continues.
I do.
It was like kind of one of those experiences. And then I've had also like readings of people telling me about past lives that I just resonated really well with.
That's right. You do ruins.
And then there was one time where the what?
You read the ruins.
What did you
say? Runes.
The runes, yes. Yes.
Yes. So
yes.
do you do that for
people?
Yeah, there was that in past life experiences come through those readings?
I do. So yes, I've seen runes in past life visions, like the symbols on standing stones. I do have some sort of recollection of a past life in like kind of like early, like maybe like Celtic or like a druid kind of setting. I don't know what time or where exactly, but when I got my serpentine crystal skull, that's when I had that experience.
Okay. So question, having that experience, remembering a past life, I think we don't remember them because it would be too confusing, especially if you remembered people from your past that you loved, they died, you missed them, blah, blah, blah. So I think we don't remember our past lives for a reason, but every now and then someone gets a glimpse of a past life and that you had that. How did it benefit you? What did it do for you? Why would spirit show you that?
Sometimes I think it's to resonate with something in my current life that's kind of drawing a parallel, or it's either to guide me in a certain direction.
So was that the case? Was that the case? Did you get something out of that?
Yeah, definitely. After I had that experience with the crystal skull and the druid imagery and like the runes and everything, I already had runes and I always kind of felt connected to them. But that's I like went out and bought the power of, oh my god, I can't remember the name of the book exactly. It was like the power of, I think it was just the power of the druids. I think that's the name of the book. But
yeah, you're way too young to be having memory lapse.
Yeah, no, I do have memory issues for sure. But I think that also kind of goes hand in hand with like living so many times.
Oh, all right. I wonder. That could be true.
Yeah. What?
Living so many lifetimes. So yeah, I had not heard that one
also
before.
like
I'm open to anything. So your screen is frozen.
Also, I feel to forget. You tend to forget things that happen physically.
That's probably a good thing, because like I said, half the stuff, and I mean, lifetime is short, certainly, but if you remembered all the stuff from all your lifetimes, it would be very difficult to work in this one. It would be confusing. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like definitely they come at certain times, and I think I benefited from them personally. I've never had a bad experience. I think if anything, it's just kind of either helped me draw a conclusion that, you know, I needed to come to, or it just guides me in a direction that's beneficial for me.
Okay. I want to loop back to galactic beings, and you thought someone was following you for like 9 months. So I know I'm looping back, but I don't remember the answer. It could be my past lives, but I don't remember what happened there. So how did you know that they were following you?
Okay, yeah.
Like,
well, it was very obvious that they were following me because, well, when I first saw it, I was kind of taken back because I noticed the aura around the craft, and I've never seen an aura around like an airplane or anything like that, like very strongly. and it was like almost like a magnetic field. It was very obvious. It was very like emerald green looking, and it I think it recognized that I saw it, or I resonated with like whatever energy at the same time that they were on. And they I got off the highway because I noticed it on the highway, and I was heading home here, and I was driving through my neighborhood, and all of a sudden, like 2 streets away from my house, it comes straight over my car. Are you good? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. What came over your car? Beams of light? Oh, the ship? We lost some of
No,
the
the
feed,
craft
sorry.
came like right over
Okay.
my car.
Okay.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I did too. That's why I
Alright.
made sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it came down probably like 100 feet above me, and it was shining like a red light, and I don't know if it was like some sort of activation or message it was trying to send to me, but yeah, that time was very like bam in my face, like here we are, we're taking tabs on you or whatever. Kind of, I just got the energy that I was not alone, and that it was like a validation of me being a starseed in a way.
Okay. Did you have any
Uh,
fear? Were you fearful at all?
No, not at all.
Good, good. So validation that you are a star seed because what? Did you have any sort of communication? Was anything communicated to you? Like, yes, we know who you are, you know who we are. How did this validate that for you?
Well, actually, about like maybe like 6 months or so before that experience, I actually had my medium friend who I'm really close with. He told me that I was gonna start having UFO experiences, and he validated a lot of my beliefs that I already had about being a starseed, and told me I was connected to the feline alien race, but also told me I was connected to a Yahyel alien race, which is a hybrid alien race that are basically our descendants in a
Okay.
sense, in a different timeline.
Do you have
They're
a
more
spelling? Do you have a
what?
spelling of them? Like, would I be able to get information? How do you spell
Yeah.
it? Yellens? Say it.
Yes,
Spell it.
Yahyel. So
Spell.
YAHYEL.
Oh, Yell.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to see if I can find information on them because I have not heard of them. Yeah, I think you said
They're
last
more
time.
like I think they're more like low key. Like they don't. I think they work more with their descendants, and they work with their familial connections a lot of the time.
Okay. So you think they're us in the past or us from the future? Like the smile. Like,
That's a really good question, because I believe it does. It connects full circle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, that's a good answer.
But basically, I would say, yeah, I would say that they're like, first, but they're also last in evolution. Like they kind of like complete, like for us, for human beings, level of what we will become. They're like our evolution, where it's like looking into the future of the human race. But it's also like looking back at like how this all happened, and connecting us to like where we came from, and how we came from even other alien races, and
So
We
do we
were
all,
genetically engineered to
question,
different alien races.
question, my friend. Do you believe we all came from different alien races? Because when I look at the people around me, I get a real intuitive hit on which ones are aliens. You know, it's like I look at that person, I go, oh, okay, there's a lot of alien energy there, blah, blah, blah. And so my feeling is that we're probably all have alien DNA, and you and I.
Yeah.
But
I think it's like a mix. It's definitely a mix of DNA all around. It's kind of like
yeah.
Earth is a huge melting pot of alien DNA, to be honest. Like it's like
Yeah.
any basically any star race or being could be mixed with our DNA.
So why are they picking on the Earth? Why are we the testing ground? What's going on up there?
We're very genetically diverse.
We're very unique. We have a soul.
That's what he said. Genetically
Yeah.
diverse is a good, yes. And we do. We have soul energy.
But we're also young, not has a lot of interest too, because there's a lot of alien races that want to guide us and take on that role of almost like parenting us in a spiritual way, because they had that when they were evolving, and they want to be that energy now.
I have heard that.
And someday that's what we'll do.
They're returning the favor, and someday we'll return the favor. So I believe that. I believe everything comes full circle. So these things that you're saying, are you intuiting these answers? Are you hearing them from other beings? How is this information channeled to you?
I would say a lot of it is I do a lot of research, but I think the majority of it is just I don't know, I have like a sense of like clairvoyance, I think. In those situations, I do the energy just feeds in, I channel it.
Do you know where you're channeling it from?
I would just say source, or just, the collective in general. I think there's a collective and a source, different levels of consciousnesses that we tap into when we start talking and thinking about these things. It draws us closer to those vibrations, and we make connections and channel them through.
That's also a good
Humans
answer.
Humans are really, really capable. Like we're so much more capable than we think.
I agree with that. Totally. Okay, so how do you, obviously you have an interest in spreading the word. You want to get this information out into the world. Why? Tell people why you feel driven to do this. I know why we feel driven to do what we do. Why do you feel that this is part of your experience here on this earth?
Are you asking like the purpose for everyone, or the purpose for like my soul purpose? Because I think it's a little different, but it does connect.
Okay, now that you
For
said
me,
that, you have
I
to
would
answer
say,
both.
Okay. I would say for me, it's really about me being able to be back in a denser reality, and trying to navigate the light even through dense and hard situations, because even just life can be difficult and challenging for any being here on earth. And I think it's just about being able to find that light and that purpose, and kind of like expressing it for myself, being able to express it in a very way.
Why is that important to you?
And I think why it's important to me, because I think for our soul growth in general, as souls, I think we need to be able to individually express ourselves, and it's important to me to shine like a light, like a star, And I think everyone wants to feel like that. And
Okay,
I think
so why though?
it's just
Why
a
though? I'm
positive thing.
trying to get you to focus on
I
world
think,
consciousness.
yeah, I think why for like the why for everybody else, I think is just to spread the kind of like almost like a renaissance in human consciousness, trying to wake people up and move towards a more spiritual, just empathetic, kind of more in touch society. And I think eventually then we can become things like Galactic, and we can restore things like our planet and our bodies, and we'll be able to live longer and all sorts of stuff if we come together and basically decide to express the light and kind of share everybody's light.
That's so cool. I absolutely love it. As you were talking, Deb was saying, hold the light and uh, hold the light. And it does raise the world's consciousness, kind of brings us to a next step or a next level. Okay, so some of the ways that you do that are through your rune readings, your mediumship, and of course your art. Okay, so I want to talk more about the art because we actually going to get you here to my home studio to do a demo, and maybe if Debbie's open to it, we'll have her actually do some painting. And I know well, and there's like 2 other people who want to do that. And I said, I'll ask him, but I'm sure he'll say yes. So talk more about the art and how that helps people to make that connection, how it helps raise vibration. So I know we went through it a little bit before, but for those who didn't see that show, just do a light summary here for us.
Yeah, I think channeling all of this energy, like if you're connecting with spirit in a way that there's no other way to express, I think it's a really good outlet if you're looking for an outlet. But also, if you're not used to connecting to that energy, but you want to, it's a really good way to bridge those gaps. It's a really good way to connect in and just express it in an individual way that's going to raise your consciousness and make you believe in yourself a little bit more, that you can actually bring these images into manifestation.
And it kind of cements the people that it's a real thing, right? So it's something that you can actually look at. Okay.
Yeah, people need things to see and touch, and sometimes, hear. A lot of people learn through imagery, and I think that's really helpful for the people who want to experience life in that way.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. Some people understand things audibly, you can explain it to them. Some people are very kinetic, they have to feel it. Okay. And then most people, I think, fall into the visual range, so you can say, yep, you have a higher self, you have guidance, you have that. But if you actually can connect to it and then try to make a visual representation, I think that it does make it more real. It does concrete the connection a little bit more. Okay.
Yeah.
So we would love for you to come and do that. Okay. In the meantime, tell people how they can get a hold of you if they want to talk to you more and learn about some of the awesome things that you do.
Yes. Well, okay. So I have an Instagram. My name is Deeper Levels. It's just one word. You can DM me on there, or you could leave me a comment or anything. I'll see it, or send me a story, whatever you want to do. Or you could reach me at my cell phone, which is 603-327-4320. Or you could email me at nicholaslewis2323@gmail.com.
No K. No K. No
What?
K in your, there's no letter K in your name, correct?
No, there's no H in Nicholas.
Oh, no H.
There's no H.
Sorry.
Yes.
No wonder why you were looking at me funny. I'm like, what the heck? No H.
Yeah, no, it's
okay. All right. So.
And Lewis is Louis.
Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, that's right. You spell Lewis differently also. All right. So we totally encourage everyone to get in contact with you because it's quite an experience and you really have a lot of really, really good energy. So we want to thank you for appearing and doing this part 2 and talking a little bit more about, you know, how you're making the world a better place in your own special way. Okay. So
Thank you.
you are so very welcome. And we're going to go ahead and end, but stay on for a few minutes because we want to schedule the
Okay.
demo and then we'll post that so people will know when they can find that as well. Okay, my darling?
Yes, perfect.
All right. Everybody have an awesome night. If you want to get a hold of Intuitive Body and Soul, we are www.intuitivebodyandsoul.com. Deb is the founder of the Halo Healing Method. So you can get a hold of her at I totally surprised her. You do have a website. You do have a website.
Yeah.
Halo.com. Okay, so that is there, and I think it's still being developed, maybe?
Oh, no,
It's done? Take a look there. You will be happy. You can also reach her through the Intuitive Body and Soul. And so we welcome comments and all kinds of good stuff. And if you know someone who makes the world a better place, let us know because we will check them out. Okay, until next time, everybody be legendary.
I love